Hi everybody, welcome to or back to Building the Bookshelf. Today we are talking about an Alice Feeney title, and it will not be the last time that she is on the channel. This book made me a fan of hers. I've already read several of her other titles, but today we're talking about Beautiful Ugly. So Alice Feeney, she has a way of writing these twisty thriller mysteries, whodunit books that continue to bring you into the fold until the very end. So like I said, this book made me a fan. We'll be talking about some of her other titles as well. It was a quick read in the sense that I couldn't put it down because I needed to know what happened. So the premise of the book is you are following Grady, who is an author. He just got some really great news at work and he wants to tell his wife about the news, calls her on the phone, and then like something happens on the phone, like she thinks the call dropped, or like something happened, or was she in a car accident, or like what is the situation? All of a sudden just gone, girl, she's gone. And so now he's trying to find her and his wife is missing and like all this, that, and the other thing. So you fast forward a year and he still has not found his wife. Doesn't know what happened to her, if she was kidnapped, if she was murdered, whatever it is, and it's become this obsession for him. So he goes and moves to an island, and he's going to try to clear his head. You know, he hasn't been able to write because he's just been consumed with the fact that his wife has been missing. So he gets to this island and, you know, he's staying in a place that was a writer's house. And so maybe he'll get some inspiration, you know, from this place. And then there start to be some kind of creepy things that are happening on the island and in the house. And is it haunted? And is his mind playing tricks on him? And all of these things. Meanwhile, he's still trying to find his wife on the mainland and what happened with her. So as I said, I really appreciate the twists and turns that keep you guessing. What I have found a little bit of a pattern, which I love with Alice Feeney's books, is that it seems like you get to the end and it's been wrapped up, and then there's that one last little twist that comes. It's kind of like if you're watching the credits on a movie and you stay all the way to the end, and all of a sudden there's a little bonus scene for everybody that made it to the very end. So that makes it, you know, kind of fun. Anytime that I'm reading a mystery thriller type book like this, I like to break it up into 3 parts for myself. So I like to make predictions for myself, just because it's a game I play with myself, of who I think, who done it, who was responsible for it at the end of the first third of the book, and then 2/3 through the book, and then right before I read the ending. I know some people like to read the ending first, but I just can't do that. I want the story to develop the way it's intended to. So I like to write down those predictions and then see if I was right or wrong. Spoiler alert, I was wrong with my prediction. But again, something that might be fun for you to do with a book club, or if you're reading this with friends or seeing what they thought. I had my dad read it at the same time that I was reading it, and I kept asking him, so who do you think did it? Who do you think, you know, all of those things. So like I said, it just kind of adds a little fun area of suspense to it. Now, the other thing, just philosophically, questions that I kind of thought about as I was reading it was, you know, how far would you go if, in multiple regards, right? If you had someone that was missing, I can't imagine the torture of that, you know, as painful as it would be if something happened to someone you loved. I think it would be so much better to at least know, so that you could try to have some kind of closure with that, than to just constantly be looking for them and think that you're seeing them everywhere that you go, and still have that hope alive, and then constantly just be crushed over and over again when it turns out that that was not the person that you thought. You know, that you're seeing them everywhere, right? They say like you are interested in, you know, a certain car, and all of a sudden you never noticed that car before, and now you just see that car everywhere you go, you know, to an exponentially higher level if you're missing someone that you loved. Second question that I thought of with this is, how far would you go if you thought that someone had wronged you and you really wanted retribution and you wanted them to pay for those sins? Like, how far would you take that before you would just have to accept that it is what it is? And then lastly, you know, I know we all say, and we know morally and logically, that 2 wrongs don't make a right, but revenge is a real thing, right? I think we really want people to own up and take accountability if they did do something that was wrong. And how far would you go, and what would you risk yourself to try to see if you could get that in the end? Would it really give you the resolution that you were looking for? Would that get you the closure that you needed? Those are all questions that I ask myself that I don't have straight answers on, but I would love to hear what you guys think about it. So Beautiful Ugly, it was beautifully ugly in a lot of regards as far as some of the themes and things that happen along the way, but I think it will keep you guessing. It will definitely keep you engaged. It'll be one of those that, you know, you're going to stay up till 2 a.m. reading because you have to know what happens. You're going to regret it in the morning, but you got to know what happens because it just keeps going and things just continue to build on each other. And so it's hard to have a stopping point when that's the case, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite kind of book to read, regardless of the genre, when it kind of keeps you guessing and keeps you engaged in that. I think those are some of the most fun. So let me know what you think. And like I said, we will be talking about more Alice Feeney's books. I said I've already read several of them, but if you have any favorites that you want to talk about on here, please feel free to drop a comment and we can talk about those next.